Hey, what's going on, YouTube friends, family, anybody else that may be watching? Today, we're going to talk about this knife. This is the Kizer Cormorant. And you can see, first thing that you can see is this natural micarta, and it's starting to patina and starting to get like a shine to it, which is very cool, very cool. Oh, and I got to do this a few times, because I have a friend that watches my videos, and she really likes when I just do this over and over and over. She's like, why do you do that? Let's start off with some size comparison. Here it is next to a shaker ball for making your protein shakes in the morning. Here it is next to a large pair of toenail clippers. Here it is next to a fine point Sharpie. Here it is next to the Spyderco PM2. And you can see that it has actually more cutting blade than the PM2. I'm sorry, PM3 has more cutting edge than the PM3. It is just maybe a little tiny bit longer, although profile wise the PM3 is much bigger. And here it is next to the Cold Steel 4MAX Scout. And here it is next to, since we got Cold Steel going on, the Mini Tough Light. Has anyone seen a non-Mini Tough Light? I haven't seen one in a long time. I know they made them, and it seemed like they disappeared. So what do we got here? We got a knife by Kizer, the Cormorant. Cormorant is a bird that eats fish. They have a severe problem with those in the Columbia River, which isn't far from where I live, eating all the salmon smolts. So, and just in appearance wise, well, let's finish the size, right? And then we'll get into all that. We have I believe it's like a 3 1/4 inch blade, 3 1/8 inch blade with right out a 3 inch cutting edge with a 4 1/8 inch handle. So 3 1/8, 4 1/8, that's really good. It weighs 3 ounces, so you get about a 1-to-1 ratio. It is 3V steel. It is natural micarta handle. It is nested skeletonized liners. It has standoffs, which only one of those standoffs is screwed. And so you could probably use that for a lanyard setup if you wanted to. It is a button lock. It is probably one of the most fidget friendly knives there is. You can flip it, front flip it, finger flick it, thumb flick it, push button flick it. You could probably, let's see if you could drop open it. Yes, Spidey flick it, I guess they call that, if I remember right. The blade, 3V steel, really thin hollow ground blade. I have not had patina problems with the 3V yet, even though I live in a salty arid environment. It comes to a very pointy tip. It's very thin stock. I believe that it is right at an 1/8 inch. Might even be just a fair fuzz under an 1/8 inch. It cuts great. This thing is a slicing machine. I'm really happy with the 3V steel. It seems to be really durable. Its ground's really thin, but that thin edge is still pretty tough because of the 3V steel. It's one of the reasons I even got this knife, is because I'd never had a knife in 3V, and I wanted to give it a try. And this is a very affordable knife for what you get for getting the natural micarta and the 3V steel and the button lock and the nested liners and all that. The blade slices great, it cuts great. They did chamfer the hole. If you look at it, everything's nice and chamfered, so it doesn't hurt your fingers when you're flicking it. Has this really neat little swedge on here. It is probably, in some people's case, ugly, because instead of a hump, they got this flat up here. With jimping, the jimping is purposeful, and the jimping goes all the way back. So ergonomically, this knife is very good, except for this right here. It's not terrible. It's just when you're gripping the knife, for me, it's not bad because my finger kind of falls right in it. But if you choke up on it a little bit, it's like this finger doesn't know really quite where to go. And if you get back like this on it, it's like you're a little bit too far back from the blade and your pinky starts falling off. But like this grip right here is good. I like that grip very much, very much. It's really good. If you're into the useless reverse grip, yes, it will do that. The pocket clip is a deep carry clip. It is nested all the way into the scale, which is really nice, and the screws are flat, which is a bonus. There's just a lot to love about this knife, in my opinion. A lot to love about it. You have a fully captured pivot, so it doesn't spin out on you when you're flicking it 87 million times, and you will flick it 87 million times. It is good for lefties and righties, which with the button lock, I think a lefty could make it work too, if they want to, and have probably not the exact same experience, but a good experience. Safety-wise, the nice thing about a button lock is you can close your knife without getting your fingers in the blade path. For example, if you're using a liner lock, let's see if I have a liner lock handy, or a frame lock. Here's a frame lock. This is the Ferrum Forge Stinger frame lock. You actually have to get your thumb or finger in the blade path to disengage the lock. And that's not really the best. Here, this is a good one to show it, because this one really drops. And if it wasn't for my thumbnail, that thing would get me every time. So, and this is also a Kizer. This is the Kizer Domen 2. Another great knife. Kizer's killing it. They really are. They're doing a great job. So that's one of the great things about the button lock, is open and close the knife. Drive your friends crazy on a video by why do you have to just sit there and do that over and over and over. And now I have a cat in my lap, and yeah, that's his tail, and he's gonna come visit. This is Arthur. Arthur likes to visit in my videos sometimes, just to see what I'm doing. What are you doing, buddy? Yep, and he thinks he's the star. All right, move along. You're good. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh, now he's climbing on my back. So anyway, back to the knife. It is odd looking. These little X's on here, I don't know exactly why they do that. They do that on the G10 one too. There are places I can trap crud for one thing, and they're just not my cup of tea. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're just not my cup of tea. I would have preferred it to just be smooth micarta. I love the way this micarta is patinaing, is that a word? Is getting a patina on it. It's patining, I don't know. I really like how they do the forward grip. It's almost like having a half choil on the front. You can really get a good grip on this knife, except for just that hollow feeling there. But otherwise, it's so good with that thin blade, and you can choke up on it like that. You can really do some good cutting. You can reach forward and get your finger up here on that kind of a reverse tanto thing. It reminds me a lot of a 940 blade, which is one of my favorite blade shapes, in that you have a little bit of flat and a little bit of belly, but the center point of the blade is still near the center line of the knife. I kind of like that. I don't really like it. I don't even know if I have one where the center of the tip is way up or way down. Let's see, probably maybe that guy. Yeah, you can see where the tip is kind of way up. It's got a lot of belly. You don't really need that much belly, in my opinion. I lean more towards a straighter edge. I also like, kind of one of the reasons I like, again, I'm bringing this one out, so I kind of like the Domen. Oh, that's not the one I meant, sorry. Like this guy. This one's probably a very similar comparison right there. As you can see, same thing, has a little bit of flat, a little bit of belly, but the tip is still right at or below the center line of the blade. Or just give me a Wharncliffe. I mean, I like a Wharncliffe. Wharncliffes are cool. I like that one. Also a Kizer, also a button lock. Got a little jimping on that there button lock right there. The button does stick out a bit. I don't see any issues with it. I've carried it a whole bunch of times in my pocket. You're carrying it like this in your pocket, tip up, facing back in your pocket, so it's back against your pocket. So even if you do somehow accidentally hit the button, it can't really come open on you. I've never had that happen. I've never had it come open in my pocket. This knife will look like this eventually. Yeah, it's a great knife. It's a great price. You can get all different kinds of versions of it. Right now over at White Mountain Knives, they have kind of a 2-for-1 deal. You can get one in titanium with a 20 CV blade and get a G10 giant Cormorant with it for free, which is pretty cool. I think that's a fantastic bargain. I don't have a link for it. Go to White Mountain Knives, your own darn self, and type in Cormorant and you'll find it yourself. Yeah, that's really all I got to say. Great. It carries great. It operates great. It cuts great. It gets extremely sharp. It's not real super hard to sharpen because it is so thin. The grind on it was really good. Very equal. I have sharpened this knife once. 3V steel wears crazy good in my opinion. And it's not super, super difficult to sharpen. It's great. It's great. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about this knife. Get yourself one. It's one of the few knives I'd actually just come out and say, yeah, just go get yourself one. It's a great tool. That's the price. I believe this one's like $95. So what a great price. What a great price. So there you go. There you have it. There is the Kizer Cormorant in 3V. This is a White Mountain Knife exclusive. I forgot to say that. So if you want to find one, you have to go to White Mountain Knives. By the way, there is the Kizer logo, the 3V, and the Cormorant, and the serial number. So in case you wanted to know and see all that stuff. So did I miss anything else? I don't plan any of these videos, by the way. I just start yammering, so don't be irritated. Anyway, so there we go. There is the Kizer Cormorant. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Turn off television, get outside, spend some time with your family. Toad sticker out.